I'm going abroad with a woman with the money from selling my house. My husband called me while I was in the hospital after getting my life expectancy sentenced. Apparently, the cheating partner is a woman who he has been seeing for a long time. He also put up for sale the important house he inherited from my father. I was worried about how my 10-year-old son was doing and asked my husband, but he wasn't even worried, saying, "I'm going to do something about it." I was suffering from an incurable disease, and my condition became worse and worse due to shock, and I was about to give up. However, for some reason, my son who came to visit me smiled. "It's okay. It's already been taken care of." After that, according to the words of my son who told me with a confident expression, my husband was found in a miserable appearance. I'm Audrey, 37 years old. My husband, Gabriel, and our 10-year-old son lived in a house that I inherited from my father, a magazine editor, who had passed away. The house was located in a prime location in New York, and if it was sold it would be $300 million, and my father told me that if something happened, I should sell it and live on that money. Life in the house of $300 million may sound appealing, but my life was quite mediocre. Even though it was old, it was full of memories, and I cherished the house I was attached to while taking care of it without selling it. My son Alex is very smart, and he loved to read difficult books owned by my father, and because he attended an international school, and he was fluent in English. On the other hand, her husband, Gabriel, has a good sense of humor and is good at communicating with people, and worked as a manager at a restaurant run by a trading company. And in contrast to me, who is not so outstanding, all his belongings are famous brand products. Not liking cheap pajamas, he would bring his own special things to the hotel. I got married knowing that my values were very different from my husband's. Recently, my husband's behavior has been a bit too much. He would come home late, and I started to sense that there had been another woman. One day, when I came home and tried to choose a shirt for him, the smell of sweet perfume came to me. "Are you cheating on me?" "Why?" "I can smell perfume on your shirt and foundation is stained on your suit." "I guess I just got them on the train." Without changing his complexion, my husband treated me like it was nothing. And not only this, but gradually his spending habit got worse. Perhaps he could no longer get by with his own pocket money, so he began to spend our household budget. I knew it was pointless to be careful, so to avoid our money from being spent by him, I created a new bank account, moved my living expenses, and kept my PIN secret. And guess what happened? My husband got furious and started being verbally aggressive. "I can't do anything with this kind of money, give me more pocket money. We have to save for Alex's tuition, and I don't want to spend any more of our money." "I'll save money, and so do you. Then sell this house, and a lot of money will roll in and we can live freely." I can't stand that he does whatever he wants with the money from selling the precious house that my father left me. Therefore, I was strongly opposed to the sale of the house. And before we knew it, the gap between us got bigger, which was more than just the difference in our values. However, my husband plays soccer with our son, and Alex is happy to have his dad play against him. He's only 10 years old, and he might learn something from his dad. I wanted to avoid divorce for my son's sake. However, bad things continued to happen and I became ill, and ended up in the hospital. According to the doctor's explanation, if nothing is done, there is a possibility that I could pass away within 3 years. I was forced to stay in the hospital, and while I was getting ready, I was pessimistic about my future and completely depressed. My kind son was very worried. While Mommy is in the hospital, it's just the two of us, Daddy, is that okay? Don't worry about me, you need to get well. Hearing Alex's powerful words, I was determined to get well as soon as possible for the sake of this child. I was admitted to the hospital and started treatment. However, my husband did not come to visit me, but when the treatment had progressed to a certain extent, he finally called me. I'm going abroad with a woman with the money from selling my house. What? What are you talking about at a time like this? My girlfriend asked me to travel to France. And I had no choice but to sell the house to make money because you were stingy. I didn't do anything bad at all. After calling me in my sick bed, he said that he wanted to be with the cheating partner as long as possible. And he left our son alone at home and moved out. I kinda knew there had been a woman for a long time, but when I was told face to face like this, it was really shocking. Combined with the frustration of letting go of my precious home, I was overwhelmed. I wonder how Alex is doing. I wish he had a phone. And the combination of feeling sorry for Alex made me even sicker with shock. I was so worried that I called the school, and Alex stopped by the hospital. I'm sorry I made you suffer because of me. What are you talking about? It's Dad's fault. When I go home, I'm alone, and it's like it's already in the hands of someone. I wonder how long we can stay there. My teachers and neighbors will help me, so you don't have to worry about me. Instead, Mom, just think about yourself. My son cared for me in many ways, but I couldn't do anything about it, and I could barely eat. However, a few days later, he squeezed my hand tightly and smiled. It's okay, it's already taken care of. Daddy can't sell the house, so don't worry. Alex had a confident look in his eyes and was somehow full of life. What? What do you mean? The house is under my mom's name, so he can't sell it on his own. So I did some research, and sure enough, my dad had forged the documents. How did you know that? Did you get involved in something sketchy? I tracked down the real estate agent from his belongings and went with an aunt in the neighborhood to check it out. See, I'm good. My son blushed a little, and with a proud look on his face, he cleared his throat. Even so, I was amazed at his ability to act and know like an adult, but it was nothing special, of course. Because my father is a former lawyer and we have a lot of legal books at home. My son read them from one to another, and even though he was only 10 years old, he had a lot of knowledge of the law. Of course, as the daughter of a lawyer, it was not new information to me. However, I was sick and shocked by my husband's betrayal, and I couldn't get my head around it at all. Then, on the same day, a real estate agent called me and I was able to ask him about the situation directly. According to the person in charge, Only some paperwork was done, so it was understandable that Gabriel believed the house had been sold and thus decided to travel abroad. Anyway, I was glad that my house was not sold. Thanks to my brilliant son, my physical condition gradually improved. Anyway, Gabriel is annoying. I want to get revenge somehow, but I'm sick. I was worried that there was nothing I could do while I was in the hospital. Then my son came forward and said, "If you're going to discipline Daddy, I'll help you, Mommy." So I vowed to use my son's wisdom and energy to punish my husband. It was a week after my husband said he had moved out. I received a call from an unknown number. "Who is this?" It's me, it's your husband Gabriel. He is staying at a hotel, and he doesn't have a mobile phone at hand, so he contacted me from the phone in the hotel room. "Oh, didn't you have a good time abroad with your cheating partner?" "I couldn't go to France because I couldn't sell the house and the money wasn't transferred." "I guess you did something behind the scenes." "Tell me." He is ranting on the other end of the phone. I tried to explain it in order, but he wouldn't listen. I felt that it would be quicker to discuss this in person, so I decided to ask where he was. In order to go to the hotel where Gabriel was staying, I got permission from the hospital to go out and went to see him. After a few hours, I finally arrived at his room. "You're late. There's a lot of preparation here." Why are you dressed like that?" Believe it or not, he's only wearing underwear. What's happening to Gabriel, a guy who takes his favorite pajamas to wherever he goes? I couldn't close my open mouth, and when I was silent, my husband bit his lip in frustration. When I confessed to my girlfriend who was staying in the room with me that I couldn't go on a trip, the next morning, I've been stripped of everything I had and lost communication with her. That's why you asked me for help. I'm sorry that your cheating partner took advantage of your money. No. She just got annoyed as we couldn't travel. We'll be able to reconcile in no time. He surely wants to believe in his cheating partner. It sounded like he was telling that to himself. Then, with a look on his face as if he remembered something, he glared at me. If the proceeds from the sale of the house had been properly transferred, this would not have happened. What the hell did you do? Tell me. It's just that your forgery was found out and the procedure was invalidated. I thought I could fool you. My husband didn't seem to be frightened, and he clicked his tongue and lay on his back on the bed. I couldn't help but regret from the bottom of my heart that I had married such a man while looking at him pitifully. You don't seem to have any remorse at all. Anyway, I'm going to divorce someone who gets rid of the precious house I inherited from my father for selfish reasons. I took out the divorce papers I had received on the way from my bag. I don't care. I approached you in the first place because I thought you were a lawyer's daughter and rich. And yet, you are so stingy and don't want to sell a house that can be overpriced, so there's no point in staying married. I'm going to get custody of Alex. Do you understand? Whatever. He's obnoxious and not sweet at all, and I can't hang out with girls if I had a kid. My husband signed the divorce papers without hesitation, and for some reason, then burst out laughing. Why are you laughing at a time like this? You're an idiot. If we get divorced, I have a legitimate right to receive half of the appraised value of the house in the division of property. My husband, who has given up on selling the house, seems to be trying to squeeze as much money out of me as possible. That was when there was a loud bang from behind me. You can't do that. My son, who had been sneaking after me and hiding in the sink, showed up. Only the amount that the husband and wife built together is subject to the division of property, not the house inherited from Grandpa. You don't know anything, Dad. Whatever, then we don't get a divorce, and Audrey has not much time left anyways, so if you wait until then the money for the life insurance will come in. If you sell the house after you inherit it, you'll make a whole profit. If you think we're not doing anything, you're wrong. I've changed the beneficiary of the life insurance policy to me, and my mom's illness will be completely cured in the first place. In fact, Alex has found a doctor abroad who could cure my illness by communicating with him in English. However, the cost is about $300 million because travel expenses are added to the surgery fee. There is no way the hospitalization coverage of my insurance alone is enough to cover the whole amount. Therefore, my husband has made fun of me, saying, "Where in our house can we find such a large amount of money?" But we had a hidden card. I decided to sell the house to help my mom. In fact, we continued to negotiate with the real estate agent with whom my husband was interacting. Moreover, the vendor there bought it at a much higher price than the market price. The house was sold for $400 million, and I would get to receive the latest medical care. At first, though, I was against selling the house to leave my son as much money as possible. However, Alex had a strong will to definitely help his mom. And he persuaded me by saying, "Grandpa in heaven will definitely agree." I almost gave up on life once, but I decided to live for my son, who has done so much for me. So I decided to get treatment abroad. That real estate agent was a hidden gem that I finally found. It's so sneaky of you to steal it like this. You shouldn't be saying that when you are the one trying to sell my mom's house without her permission. Well, it is a matter of time when you can pretend like you're fine. Anyway, most of the money is spent on medical treatment, and how can a sick person and a kid possibly survive? What did you just say? Alex wrinkled his brows, still looking like he wanted to say something more. However, from here on, the story was about to get complicated, so I told him to wait in the lobby. Alex walked out of the room with an unsatisfied look. And from here, I decided to push my husband even further. I'll tell you what, my deposit amount that my father signed matures next year. The amount is roughly about the lifetime annual income of a corporate worker. I didn't know there was such a thing. Why didn't you tell me? My husband was surprised and glared at me while breathing heavily. However, I knew about his rough spending habit before we got married, and I deliberately hid it because I didn't want it to be used. Then, my husband began to think about something while muttering to himself, and after a while, he suddenly grinned. "I didn't expect you to have so much money hidden." "All right, I've decided to get back with you." Gabriel tried to snatch the divorce papers I was holding, but I managed to pick it up and put it in my bag immediately. There is no way I will live under the same roof with you. I'm going to charge you for cheating alimony and child support. I'll also report to the police that you forged documents to sell the house, so be prepared. Hold on a second. Actually, I had a fight with my boss at work. I was going to get the money from the sale of the house. I just resigned from the job the other day. And I'm in debt, so I have no money for that. According to my husband's story, he was absent from work without permission for many days, spending time with his cheating partner, so he was warned by the head office and he got pissed. And it seems that the debt was made to hang out with his cheating partner, and it seems that there is still a considerable amount of repayment left, and he is pale. I'm unemployed, and if I get involved with the police, my life will hit the rock bottom. What should I do? You can make a little money by selling your clothes and bags, and if that's not enough, you have to work without sleeping. I'm really sorry. I'm begging you. Please dismiss it this time. I'll listen to whatever you say. Finally, my husband sat down on the spot. However, no matter how much he apologized, my anger would not subside. Anyway, you only wanted money out of our marriage. I don't want to see your face anymore, so please talk to me through a lawyer from now on. I left my hotel room to go to Alex, who was waiting in the lobby, leaving my husband behind. And guess what? My husband, who still had not been able to give up on everything, chased me from behind. Please, give me another chance. You're annoying me. Go away. No. I'll chase you everywhere until you forgive me. Even though I was resisting strongly, my husband didn't listen to me at all and followed me all the way to the lobby. But my husband had made a terrible mistake here. Do you know what your outfit looks like right now? My outfit? Oh my God. Gabriel seemed to have forgotten that he was in his underwear right now. Because of this, he was seen by other customers in a miserable state. The hotel was glass-walled, so people walking outside laughed at him. Gabriel's face turned so red that he thought it was going to steam, and he ran away. It's on you. My son, who was waiting in the lobby, laughed and high-fived me. At a later date, I divorced my husband through a lawyer and decided to pay 4 million yen in alimony and child support for the affair. Also, regarding the case of document forgery, although he has been released on temporary bail, I was told by my lawyer that he would be given some kind of penalty in the future. And he is currently chased by debt collectors, and works as a day laborer to make extra money. By the way, his cheating partner who deceived him has ghosted on him, and his stolen things never came back again. In fact, soon after that, I visited France with my son and underwent surgery, and now I can live a normal life. And as Alex, who has always dreamed of becoming an international lawyer, we, as a mom and her child, decided to move and settle in France. I used my various experiences to become a columnist. Alex and I have been blessed with new friends